In this video, we're going to look at how to find the area of a sector, so the area of a shape like this. Now, this is a part of a circle where the whole circle would be right around here. This point here would be the centre of the circle, and that's important as we go through this. Now, the normal formula for the area of a circle, I'm going to write up at the side just to remind you, area of a circle we know is pi r squared. Now, you can see the pi r squared appearing here within the formula, and then it's got this bit in front of angle over 360. And all this bit at the front does is tell me what fraction of the circle I'm actually trying to find the area of. So say for instance this angle was 42 degrees. Because there's 360 degrees in total, then this is 42 360ths of the full circle. So that would be the fraction of a circle I have there. Out of 360 degrees, how many degrees do I have? And then just multiply that by the area of a full circle. And that way we're finding that fraction of the area of a full circle. So r in the formula stands for the radius, and again that's important that we pay attention to that, and we'll go on and just have a shot at the first question. So first question here, dead straightforward, calculate the area of the sector. Now, formula here, area of a sector is given, so we're going to quickly write that down. Now the formula is area of a sector equals angle over 360 times pi r squared, and what we've got to do then is just start to fill that in. So first of all, we are looking for the area of a sector, so we're going to leave that as it is. The next part is the angle over 360. Now the angle here is 36 degrees, so I'm going to put 36 degrees out of 360 degrees, and that's basically the fraction of the circle I have there. I have 36 360ths of a circle. We then multiply by pi r squared, and again, whenever you've got radius or diameter in a question, just pay extra attention to make sure you're using the right one. So this is asking for the radius squared. So I've got to ask myself, is this actually the radius of this circle? Now this is the centre of the circle, and that's to the outside of the circle or the circumference, so that is the radius. So 8 I can use just as it is, so that's 8 squared because it's radius squared. All I then do is type that into the calculator. Just remember that's just 36 divided by 360 times pi times 8 squared. And that comes to 20.11. And that's just my answer rounded to 2 decimal places. And then we need to look at the units. Now, because I'm dealing with an area, then the units will have to be square units. The unit of length in this question was in metres. So because the length is in metres, then the area will be in square metres because it's an area. So remember, area always has these square units, and that's that question done. So very straightforward. Let's go and look at a problem. So in this problem here, we have a logo to be painted red and blue, and we want to calculate the area to be painted blue. So what we're interested in is this little area here. Now we don't have a formula to find the area of a shape that looks like this blue part here, but what you'll notice hopefully is that we do actually have a sector here. We have in fact 2 sectors. We have this large sector, which is the whole shape here, so the larger sector of the two, and then we have a smaller sector here, which is the red sector. Now, the strategy here will be to find out the area of the whole thing, so using the large sector area, and then we'll work out the area of this small red part and subtract it. If I take the red part away from this whole thing, then I'll just be left with the blue part, and that will then give me the area of the blue part. So let's start off by putting in my first area of a sector, so area, and this time because I've got 2 different sectors I'm going to try and distinguish them in my formula. So rather than just writing area of a sector, I'm going to write area of large sector. And again, the rest of the formula is still angle over 360 times pi r squared. The larger sector is angle over 360, so the angle is 16 degrees for both the small and the large, so that's 16 over 360 times pi times the radius squared. Now again, check that you've got the right thing here. Have you got the radius or the diameter? Now both of these lengths, because this is the centre, this 8 is the radius of the red circle, and this 13 here is the radius of this kind of full sector here. So we're wanting that large sector, so we want to use this 13 for the large sector. So that's pi times 13 squared. Typing that into my calculator, that gives me 23.60, and again that's just rounded to 2 decimal places, and because it's an area, the units here are centimetres, so that is going to be square centimetres because it's an area. Now that's part of an answer, but it's not the full answer. We still need to work out the red part up here. So let's again write out a formula, and again we're going to specify, this time I did area of large sector, so now I'm looking for the small sector, so I'm going to write that here. And you'll notice again I've written area of small sector and I've written out the full formula again. Even though I've got the formula up here now, it's a good habit to get into because it'll help you remember the formulas long term. If you just always make a point of writing it out, it doesn't take long, so I would recommend you just do that every time. We'll now start to fill it in. So we have angle over 360 is going to be 16 over 360. It's the same angle, times pi times r squared. Now because this time we're looking for the small sector, we need this small radius here of 8. So that's going to be times 8 squared. Typing that into my calculator, we end up with 8.94. And again, square units for an area, that's square centimetres. And again, part of our answer, but we're not quite finished yet. So we're asked to calculate the area to be painted blue. Now the blue part is, you can think about it as the whole large sector, but with the red part removed. So the whole large sector, but the red part removed. In other words, this part, take away this part. So what we're going to do is, again, we're going to make it really clear which part of working I'm doing here. So I'm going to write out blue area, so it's nice and clear what I'm calculating, and that's 23.60, take away 8.94, and my final answer then will be 14.66 square centimetres. So here's a quick question for you to try. Pause the video, try the question, and then press play when you're ready to go over it. Okay, first step is we're looking for the area of a sector. So when you come across a question like this, you've got to remember now you've got two formulas, one for arc length, one for area. You must use the right one. Area of a sector is part of the area of the full circle, so it's the one with pi r squared in it. So area of sector is angle over 360 multiplied by the area of a circle, pi r squared. So that's in this case 17 over 360, that's my angle over 360, multiplied by pi times 120 squared. Now we're probably going to get quite a large number here, so don't be alarmed if that happens. And that comes to 2136.28. And then all I need to remember to make sure I've done is put the correct units in. Now the length here is in centimetres, so because this is an area, the unit here will be square centimetres, so cm, with a little power of 2 on the centimetres.